Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Crypto Hipsters podcast, where I interview founders and co founders, entrepreneurs and artists, executives and stay at home hipsters in crypto and blockchain around the world. And I have an amazing podcast for you today. Let's get to it.
Today, my guest residing in Mumbai is the founder and COO of Diamante Blockchain. His name is Chirag Jatani. Chirag, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jamal. Good to be here. And hello, everyone.
Great. Thank you for joining us today. So my first question to kick things off is, what is your background and how does it relate to what you do now?
So I had a pretty interesting journey coming on and incepting Diamante Blockchain back in 2018. So I'm basically an engineer by background. I did my master's from Germany and then moved on with my family's diamond business. So my family has been in diamond business since past 3 generations. So I had a fair share of experience working within the diamond space in the global trade, where on a daily basis we had a lot of goods moving across borders. And that's when, back in 2018, I met my co-founder of the same platform of the diamond industry. He's based out of Kansas City, US. And we recognized the fact that there were certain pain areas within the global trade that needed to be addressed, and blockchain was a potential solution to it. So I started speaking with my CTO, the current CTO, and the company, Raj Chaudhary. He was working with one of the largest private sector banks in India. They were the first ones to conduct intra-bank trade finance remittance implementation between ICICI Bank in India and Emirates NBD. So we thought about bringing the same tech stack to a more wider adoption within the luxury space, starting with the gem and jewelry industry. And we had deep roots within the industry, so that was a very key area where the blockchain can be applied.
Great. Okay. Thank you. So I want to know more about Diamante Blockchain, the ecosystem, and how does it all work?
Yeah, happy to answer that. So as I mentioned, that we incepted Diamante Blockchain in 2018 with the core belief that the trade finance required a larger implementation of blockchain. So the first thing we realized that the international payments were not as transparent as we would like it to be. So for example, if we have an Uber ordered, we know exactly where Uber is, but with international payments, it is not such. We have to always wait for the counterparty for accepting the payments or giving us some confirmation if they have received the payment. So there is no such transparency. And that's where we thought blockchain is a very good introduction to the global trade space within the payments, where it is much more cost effective, it is transparent, and it is quite immutable in the way the data has been shared. So generally speaking, about what the system works now, or how the system works now, is there are a lot of intermediaries when the value is being transferred across borders. And the way we wanted that to happen is we wanted to eliminate the intermediaries and send directly the payments from the senders to the receiver ends with minimum requirement of funds reconciliation between sending and the receiving banks, or just eliminating the intermediaries out of it. So that's when we started developing our proprietary blockchain network, that's Diamante Net. So it was clear that we would be creating an ecosystem for trade, payments, and finance all together within in a single space with Diamante. So we developed Diamante Net. So that is basically a fork of a Stellar without having any traces of it. That allows us to transfer value and across borders in a real time. So how the network has been built is The network comes to consensus in 2 to 4 seconds, and it has a scalability of approximately 20,000 transactions per second. Currently, the network resides at 7,500 transactions per second. That's what it can handle right now. But it is quite feasible and easy to scale it up to 20,000. And so that's what we did. And also we recognize the fact that working within the banking connections that we have, like if you wanted to onboard a real banks or financial services provider, we required a different architecture that is not either public nor not that is either private. So we developed a pseudonymous architecture for it. So it's kind of a public-private partnership where the banking institutions like it to be private and the public likes it to be more public. So that's how we created the architecture and started onboarding various banks and onto our network with our first application that's called PayCircle. Now talking more about PayCircle, PayCircle allows individuals and businesses to securely custody more than 6 fiat currencies onto their wallet. And the custody of the assets within the PayCircle ecosystem is also FDIC insured. So businesses don't have to worry about the security aspects of their funds. It is quite secured and insured. And the good part about it is they can transfer value within 2 to 4 seconds. It might be a domestic transfer, it might be an international transfer. So that all combines well within the PayCircle ecosystem. And also what we have built within the PayCircle ecosystem is we want to create an ecosystem which is accessible and easy to all. And that is why we support currently more than 130 digital assets that can be instantly bought, sold, or either sent and received to the counterparties within the same ecosystem. So that was a key part that we built within the Diamond ecosystem. And currently we have collaboration within multiple geographies, and we aim to get the application live in the next 15 to 30 days.
That's excellent. So I have 3 follow-ups from what you just said. The first one is this. I don't get too many people who talk about this, is a consortium. You mentioned consortium. So what do you see as the benefits of being member of the consortium with banks and then in your industry, in your energy and mining industry?
Yes, so it is always good to talk about the consortium. And when we see a lot of consortium coming up in the market, and most of them fail. And the reason behind that is there is not a synergy which keeps on going with the consortium and the members of the consortium. So we had this unique idea even before developing our application. We started building our consortium that's called Diamante Consortium, which is free and open to all industry stakeholders to join. Basically, it is meant to be a luxury consortium where people participate and they can freely trade within the same ecosystem without worrying about the security aspect of it. And how we do that is each and every user coming onto the consortium, maybe either individual trader or a small scale or a medium scale entity or a larger scale entity. We do their complete KYC email checks, and we at Diamond have a feasibility to do KYC email checks of individuals and entity on different geographies. And once a user is onboarded onto the system, we open a certain wallet for them, that is the digital asset wallet. So whatever transactions or whatever trade that are conducted by the consortium members are replicated onto our blockchain ledger, that is Diamante.net. So we started building the consortium, and to date we have signed up more than 400 consortium members across different geographies. And when we sum up their revenue streams, that is yearly revenue streams, that is worth more than $10 billion. So we as a company, we have got a lot better traction building a consortium, and we are actually providing values to them. Just want to give you a small example on one of our consortium members. So they, on a daily basis, receive 100 to 200 payments from their clients across the globe. And those are all international remittance coming in. And with a single fee of remittance, it is approximated anywhere between $50 to $60. So that is a huge sum of money they would be paying to the banks for just receiving the payments from their clients. So in the traditional world, there is not a system where the payment cost can be reduced and also the timing can be reduced, because some geographies have a reconciliation time of 2 to 7 days, and they don't like it because they are not aware of where the payments are, and there is a big headache and operational cost building up for them. So with Payscircle ecosystem, what we have done is they can get the payments of all the different clients and just make a single withdrawal out of it. So ultimately their fees is slashed to a bare minimum, only $35, and it can be done within a single transaction. That's why people have started believing in us, and we have a lot of consortium members who have already invested a lot, either with their ideas or with their funds, and the support has been enormous that we have been getting for our consortium.
Excellent. You said two things there. You said that it reduces timing and cost. I knew that, but what you also said was that it creates traction. Now, traction, a lot of companies, a lot of blockchain companies, crypto companies, they start off without any kind of customer base whatsoever. But you already have an existing client base. You have many years of industry experience. And how has being an established player, in the industry that's established, provided you with an edge?
So the journey, to be honest, hasn't been that smooth and easy. When you talk about traditional trade, with the industry connections that we have, we can source any diamond across any borders. But when you are talking about implementing new technical solutions to an industry that has been traditionally run since centuries, so it is always difficult for people or companies to adopt to it. So the way we have built our system is people are made very, what I can say, that people are made very comfortable when they are onboarding to our system. So it is just like operating a normal online banking account or an application that a bank has. So we have replicated that same user interface for them to get onboarded. And it's just about getting more benefits out of the system. And when we talk about the immutability of the documents or the payments and the transactions that happen onto the network, so it was quite a curve educating them about the new technology. Even they have been skeptical about it on an initial basis, but as we started explaining what it does, we conducted even a proof of concept transaction with 10 corporates from different geographies where also banks participated, and we made them realize, okay, this is something that is very easy, this is beneficial for them, and this is something that can easily be adopted within their ecosystem. And that's where we have been successful. Industry connections, to answer your question, definitely helps, and that's our USP as we bring to the Diamond ecosystem, where me and my co-founder, we have more than 30 years of experience individually working within the space. So that's what we believe, that the connections that we have across different geographies would definitely have a good amount of traction once the application goes live. And that's something different that we have done from other peer competitors who just get the application and then search for the users. And with the consortium that we have already got the traction, which would be converted to revenues as we keep on growing our business.
Excellent. So I want to talk a little bit about your business, and I actually want to talk about, and specifically, I want to talk about non-fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens as applied to diamonds. I've talked to musicians, I've talked to artists, I've talked to different people, content creators. You actually have a product. You're bright, and diamonds specifically. You look at brightness, you look at clarity, you look at grade, you look at the size of the carat. how can you apply, and how do you apply non-fungible tokens to your actual product? And then, what are the benefits of having that tangibility, applying NFTs to an actual mineral? How do you do that?
So yes, and this is something that I really like talking about. NFTs. When NFTs were introduced to me as a concept, I was not a believer of it. Always what I believed is there has to be a certain value that is associated with any goods before making it non-fungible or converting into NFT. So we did a lot of research, and we also discussed with our industry partners on how they like this idea of creating a non-fungible token for a physical asset. So that's how we have evolved and created an ecosystem for NFTs as well. Just to give you a brief about the ecosystem, that what we are planning to get it out in the market is, we would be working with the rarest diamonds out there in the world, which is not easily accessible to either investors or enthusiasts who want to have that rare assets onto their portfolios. So till date, there is not even a single platform which does that. And with our Diamond NFT platforms, it would have three major aspects to it. It would have traceability of the diamonds, that is from the source, that is from the seller source till to the safe deposit vault and to the buyer's destination. So what we are doing with the NFTs is that if someone has a very unique or a rare diamond within their portfolio, and if they want to auction it, we would be utilizing a third-party safe deposit vault with our Swiss partners, where it would be securely locked within a vault. And once the third-party vault company gives a confirmation that the diamond that the seller has already promised is what is there within their hands, and that's when we create an NFT for the diamond and place it on an auction platform, where all the parties are verified through a stringent KYC email process. And we want this to be an exclusive premier club for the people, where they can source the precious or the rarest asset out there in the market. And the key aspect to that, with the delivery partners that we have and with the vault partners that we have, each and every aspect would be traced within the Diamond Net ecosystem, so that it is easier for the buyer to understand where they are putting money into. So that's what we are bringing in the market, where the NFTs could even be traded in the future, and it would have a real value associated with it, because the buyer would also be bidding not only for the NFTs, but it would have a certain physical value for the actual diamond that they have bought.
Great. So, it's been, when did I propose? Proposed to my wife in 2007, right? I bought her a Diamond District. I got on one knee. I asked her to marry me. She said yes. We've been married since 2008. If I wanted to buy a diamond, ring or diamond on using your platform, would I be able to do that? And if so, how?
Yes, certainly. We have planned a trading platform for diamonds, where diamonds can be bought and sold. Not so much on the retail side, that is, we might come, but it is for businesses to businesses. It's a B2B platform that we would be soon initiating and bringing within the diamond ecosystem. So there are two aspects to the diamond trade, on the retail side of it and on the business side of it. People have been more cautious about what they want to buy and what is the source and the origin of it. So I'm integrating a complete supply chain from the mines to the market. So that is the first stage that we would be working on, where the goods coming from the mine would be traced until it hits the manufacturer's platform or the factory where it has been manufactured, and then ultimately when it is going to onto the hands of traders, it would be traced on the blockchain as well. So there is a certain immutability of the data that would be flowing through the blockchain network, and ultimately when it goes into the jeweler's hand, they would know exactly that the diamond they have bought from the trader or even from the manufacturer, it would have a certain traceability aspect to it. And what they can promise their buyers, customers, is that this is a real diamond that has been traced onto the blockchain. It has a real value. And all the value of the diamonds, also through the certification process, it would be mapped and traced onto the diamond net ecosystem. So that's what we would be. We have planned on the first stage where we would be giving an additional value for the diamonds, and that would be a big marketing drive for the manufacturing and the mining companies as well, because there have been lot of talks about the blood diamonds, and we have even seen the movies, and that's what it looks like to a normal retail customer. So bringing the transparency would create an additional amount of trust, where the retailers could do a big marketing drive or a campaign where they promise that the diamonds that they are selling, they're authentic and it has a complete track on the blockchain. So that is the first phase that we have planned, and as we move forward, we will also be planning to bring the jewelers onto a single ecosystem where they can showcase their traced diamonds and the jewelry, and they can sell it to potential customers around the globe.
Great. You said two words there: authenticity and trust. And I'm looking at, your supply chain, and that's important to have authenticity and trust. What challenges and lessons have you learned that could be applied to other supply chains on blockchain that you could probably, share your wisdom about?
Sure. So we have learned a lot out of our past three and a half years within our journey with Diamante. So people have been talking a lot about supply chains and implementing supply chains and utilizing blockchain. There have been a lot of initiatives in different industries. When I talk about diamond industry, that has been an initiative called Tracer. They promise to trace the diamonds and their diamonds throughout the journey, and they're doing a good job. And there are a lot of other initiatives within within the automobile space, within the pharma space, and there are a lot of use cases that people want to implement. But when we talk about real implementation or real life implementation, it's about creating a value for the actual businesses. Like if I am running a business, I don't want my overheads to be higher. Implementing a new technology, I want my overheads to go down. I want my business to grow with the new technology and not become a burden to me. So implementation has always been a challenge, and there are a lot of ways you can overcome that challenge. Like a lot of companies have been successfully doing that, but there are not a lot of initiatives who have created a real life solution to it, and that's what we aim to bring to the market. Like whenever you are working with a global trade of diamonds, it is the most securitized trade. When you look at it, there are a lot of certifications like Kimberley process certifications where you maintain the genuinity of the goods. It is not blood diamonds. So it is a very complex space. And if we overcome that complex situations, then it can be easily applied to various different industries. We already had few of our consortium members coming in from the pharma industry that they were a part of our proof of concept transaction with the Pay Circle ecosystem. There were a few companies from the textile. So people are looking for the solution, but there is an actual need of a platform that allows you to do it. And particularly now the challenges that we face, like if we are particularly speaking about diamonds or gems in jewelry, when you are transferring or transporting from one geography to other geography, or even transferring payments from one geography to other geography, there is always that banking compliance department that stops it, or either there is a custom department that stops the transfer of the goods. So it has to be authenticated a lot in terms of payments and the transfer. And that's what blockchain can bring a lot of value to it within the supply chains. It can minimize the risks for the authenticity, and that's when the custom department would feel comfortable. That's when the banks would feel comfortable to manage the payments. So it is still in a very early stage, but there is a very bright future for implementation of blockchain within the supply chain space, and we would definitely would like to be one of the leaders leading that by creating an example within the complex industry.
I agree, and that sounds awesome. And I have one follow up on that. You talked about payments, you talked about auto and pharma. Elon Musk, I'm sure you know the name. He spent the weekend trolling some of the Bitcoin guys, and he said on a tweet, "Goods and services are the real economy. Any form of money is simply the accounting thereof." I want to get your thoughts on how because we're talking diamonds here, and that's real goods and services, how other energy industries could also use what you're doing, blockchain, and what you're doing, and look at you as an example to apply their energy, real goods and services to the blockchain. What could they learn from you?
Yes. So there are a lot of possibilities out there. And when we talk about possibilities, it's not just that people are thinking about it. People have already started implementing that. They have started conducting proof of concept transactions for it because it makes life simpler. It's like getting into a new technological age where a blockchain would be a big driver, and not only blockchain, AI would be a big part of it. So when you talk about other sectors like oil and gas, there is a certain requirement for that industry as well, where they can utilize the same tech stack for the traceability of their goods. It can be also be used to on the retail side, where the gas the retailers are purchasing can be traced, the payments can be handled with the blockchain. So there are a lot of use cases that are being applied, but personally speaking, I still see next 5 to 10 years as a growth phase of all these use cases. And right now, it's like comparing to the initial stage of the internet. When there was internet out there, people were stringent to use it. Not a lot of people believed it, but look after 20, 23 years where we are. And that's why we have been speaking in this podcast as well. So it makes life simpler. So there will be a lot of adoption on the industrial level and on the retail aspect of it. People would still take time to get more comfortable by utilizing this tech stack, and that's not far. It can be even more earlier within the life cycle, because right now people have already started adopting to various technologies, and with the new generation coming up, I see the very good adoption of blockchain in different sectors as well.
I agree. I want to thank you very much for your time today. This has been an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed speaking with you. My last question is this: how can people find out more information about Diamante Blockchain? Find out more information about you, what you're up to. How can they do that?
Sure, and I have definitely enjoyed speaking with you about all the different aspects of what we are doing as a company and the other world affairs, like how it can be applied to different areas and what is the stage of the adoption. So it was a really good conversation. I would really like to thank you for this opportunity speaking with you. And if people or the listeners that you have would like to know more about Diamante Blockchain, they can visit www.diamanteblockchain.com, and there you can find various links to our ecosystem, our social media links. You can follow us on our various social handles to know about what we are doing as a company, to get updated on what we have been doing. And we also have a media section that's called Diamante Media, where we talk about different current affairs and adoption of blockchain within the different space. So it's kind of an interactive platform as well. So people can find Diamante Media on section on the Diamante Blockchain website itself.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks a lot, Jamal. It was a pleasure speaking with you.